tēnā rā e pā te iawi atua kia whakamue mititi a koe ka tika, kia whakanui a koe pā kua hoki mai nei a hau a Kaea Matiaha te aro hata i te rangipū a tata i roto tūtahu te tarati tahu mā tāuru te kamupene matua i roto anō hoki i te runanga nui o tahu hapu nui tonu te kapore i hana matua kua hoki mai anō ai i roto i tērā te tarati rā i te taha ki te pūtea moni tau toko kia mātau ki Hawaikirangi kua hoki ake mai ki tēnei wiki kua reiti, kua ahua reiti roto i tēnei wā tonu nei ka rau i te titiro atu i te tāi mai tēnei hei te mea kai te whāwhai hārea hau ka rau e titiro noa atu ana i te tāi mai kai te tino pai tērā ia hauna hoi anō kai te tī mataria ki tēnei rā me taku whai atu i roto i tēnei rā ki te whakanui tonu. Titiro rā māti tonu i a rātau te raka, rātau te tohunga i roto i te ao puoro ki ingi mangu. I a rātau i roto i tērā me ki tērā pai o rātau, tēnā whakatipuranga o rātau, e mea hou i roto e tātou mā, e tahu mā ka nui matua. E mea hou, e whakatipuranga hou, kua uru mai anō ai, ki roto ki te ao te raka, te ao te tohunga, me tō rātau whai tonu atu ki roto ki te ao hou nei, te ao te mate korona, te ao tonu nei mate, tā noa, aha nei, roto i tērā tū āhua, e pā. E parapara haere nei tō tātou nā ao whānui, e mea atu ana nei kia ua mai, kia mōrika mai anō ai, te ao, kia tātou mātau, hai aha, hai whakamāki atu anō māhai, e pā. Hoi anō ki roto ki tēnei wā tonu nei, ko te wā ki te kōrero i a Hawaikirangi. Tēnei o tātou mātau hōtaka karetino roa kauti ai, kai roto kai te toru wiki, kai te toe, i roto i tērā wiki he tino whetū meki, tino whetū, tino tangata rongo nui hara mai ai, i toha, i meki tuari haere anō ai, i ana tautō hito, i ana pū manawa, rangatira, raka, tohunga, i te ao te pōro. Tēnei o ngā tāngatangata, kua hono mai anō ai, ki roto tahu posi, ia King Homeboy. Me ana kōrero i roto i tērā wiki tino whakarangatira atu anō ai i a Hawaikirangi i roto i tau awa. E no reire pā e whakamue miti ana, e whakanui ana no hoki i ngā ahiwatanga ki te hōtaka hou, ka ahua māmā no te whakahaere, ka ahua māmā no te takoto, hoi anō ka tino māramarama mai anō ai, i roto i te taha ki te whāinga matua, whāinga roa, whāinga poto, e whai haere atu ana i roto i taua hōtaka. Hoi anō, kai roto kai te toru wiki tērā, e toi ana mai, me tō tātai mātau haere tonu anō ai e pā, ki te whai atu, ki te kōrero i a Magic Powder, tai tonu atu anō ai ki a Ria Ho, te tūmanako, ka tai tonu anō ai i a rāiwa toko rua, te kōrero mai ki a tātai mātau, te kōrero mai anō ai o rāiwa toko rua ngā tahi i roto i te wāku tahi rā nei, ka tāia. Hoi anō kai roto tonu i o ringa anō e pā e rātu āhuatanga ki a rāiwa. Hei whakautitanga ki a Hawaikirangi. hei aha, hai whakamutitanga tonu ki ngā kōrero. Me ngā huatanga I roto Hawaikirangi I āhua ua mai anō ai, hoi anō I tino tai tonu anō ai. Kia whakahoti tonu, kia whakamuti tonu, kia tutuki pai tonu I roto I etahi āhuatanga ki atu. Ka tahe tonu tia anō ai. Ki roto ki tērā o ngā hōtaka a tahu posi. Me te kawa tonu anō ai I rātu āhuatanga. Kia haere tonu anō ai, tutuki pai mai anō ai ki roto ki tērā o ngā hōtaka. Kai te pai? Hoi anō. Anō nā taku kōrero, taku mea tu e pā. Kai roto I o ringa katoa. Kai roto anō I o whakarahinahi. I o tau tiaki. I o tau mana ki katoa. Ai te ingoa te iehua. Āmene, ka piti hono ka tātai hono. Te mate kia rātau. Te mate kariro no atu nei rā ki tua o te ārai o te mate. Rātau anō, kua karapine pine atu anō, karapine pine atu anō ki roto ki te wāhi I whakatau I rati atu ai kia rātau. Karapine pine atu anō ki roto Hawaiki. Hawaiki nui ki tērā o ngā rohe kia rātau I roto I wharaurangi ki te wāhi tonu kia hine nui te pō. Wā hi atu ai anō I a rātau. Hoi anō, kai a rātau tērā kōrero. Whakauti atu ai. Whakauti atu ai e koutou mā whakauti. Ka piti hono ka tātai hono. Tātau anō tēnei te kāno hiora. Tēnā rā tātau. Tēnā rā tātau, kai te mihi atu. Mauri o rana kia tātau kātua toa. Me ngā mihi, me ngā whakatau ki. Whakatau ki. Kahuri.
Free COVID-19 vaccine.
Brimstone, thunder and lightning. I'm gonna set this place on fire. Burn it down entirely. Say Babylon, for your time has expired. Brimstone, thunder and lightning.
Bust more shots than Neymar. Drop bombs, near palm, pity car, stay arm. Babylon if you go stay palm. Kills on E-Cup, then Trayvon. Slaughter the church at Charleston. Assassination, marksman, 45 in a female. Innocent bloodshed upon their shoulders. As the day goes, their heart grows colder. Undocumented what them do up in the folder. Judgment they are forward and they are prolonged. Flash him in lots, here come the rats. Fire away gash, hit them a catch. No men has happened till Babylon cash. Them head full of gas, so them pass with the mark. Snap on my fingers, them gone in a flash. Anything but it clean at the trash. Dust to dust and ash to wash.
I'm gonna set this place on fire. Burn it down entirely. Say Babylon, for your time has expired. Brimstone, thunder and lightning. I'm gonna set this place on fire. Burn it down entirely. Say Babylon, for your time has expired. Brimstone, thunder and lightning.
So me, bam from them already make them think I won't try again. Guess who? I again. Daniel out to the lion then. Comfy burn a fire pan vampire and the liar them. From who I send the order straight down to the fires them. So much trouble in the world, it's hard for people to smile again. And who can I depend? It's hard to even find a friend. So much I mine and there is no one to hire them. So much I'll do let them get to use the fire them. Flashing me lots, here come the rats. Fire away gosh, hit them a catch. No me not happen till Babylon cash. Them head full of gas and then pass with the mark. Snap on my fingers, them gone in a flash. Anything but it clean at the trash. Dust to dust and ash to ash.
I'm gonna set this place on fire. Burn it down entirely. Say Babylon for your time has expired. Brimstone, thunder and lightning. I'm gonna set this place on fire. Burn it down entirely. Say Babylon for your time has expired. Brimstone, thunder and lightning.
You see that fire where we blazing. You see that fire where we blazing. You see the fire where we blazing. That is our generation.
As we a step forward, we a step on Babylon. Brother man, we're moving forward. I'm gonna set this place on fire. Burn it down entirely. Say Babylon for your time has expired. Brimstone, thunder and lightning. I'm gonna set this place on fire. Burn it down entirely. Say Babylon for your time has expired. Brimstone, thunder and lightning. Set this place on fire.
A tēnā rā e tātou mā, tēnā huki ake mai, huki ake mai, huki tonu mai. E tātou ki roto Hawaikirangi ki ngā kōrera Hawaikirangi, me ngā titirohia o te hōtaka ki roto ki te raka, te tohunga, ara, heavyweights, rātau mā, tonu o roto i tērā pai, kai te ao, e tohunga tonu, he raka tonu ki roto ki tēnei ao o te puoro, ara, a te ao, ki te puoro ki ngi mangu e kōrero hia ake nei, ki te romi anu, tō mātau ingoa tonu ki te pōro ki ngi mangu. Hoi anō, ko te pōro ki ngi mangu tonu, ne? Ko kāia tēnei, kua hoki ake mai nei, me ngā kōrero a Hawaikirangi, ki roto ki te kawe tonu mai i aua kōrero, ki roto ki te rima. Tata ki te rima, aroha mai, tata ki te rima, ahua whangua noa hau ki tēniwa. Kai te waru ki te whā, me tō tātou mātou whai atu ki aua āhuatanga i roto i a rātau te raka, me ki te raka, me rātau anō me ki te tohunga, ai. Ko rātau e rātau o mua tonu i honei, i e rāo te whakatupuranga o nā ia nei, ara, ia Joe Mercer mā, ko Joe Mercer māli tērā, tētahi o taku tino. Ai, tai tonu atu ia Damien mā, ko ia no, kai roto i tēnei rā, ka rāngona atu ai tōna waiata. Hoi anō, tērā o ngā waiata, burn it down, tētahi o aku tino waiata. He tino waiata kia au I runga I te mea e tatama. I love that song, Burn It Down. And I like Joe Mercer's style. That's Stevie Marley's son. Joe Mercer's style is one that I particularly hearken to, and I'll tell you why, because I have a similar style. Well, I had a similar style. I used to play Rasta Roots reggae. And Rasta Roots is quite a different genre. Well, it's a whole different genre again to what I'm playing in now. I'm playing in gospel reggae, but we're playing in particular roots conscious roots reggae. And my style is similar to Joe Mercer, and that's why I like Joe Mercer. I thought, wow. When I first came across Joe Mercer and his style there. So it's quite remarkable when you see some of the, well, some. I'm not saying I'm exactly the same. I'd be quite different because I've always been in particular, culturally very, very strong foundationally. So my style would be more on the side of my tribal side. So to be super tribal, ureta rewa hapu nui tonu, and also tahu mākaka nui matua in particular. Joe Mercer just is all the Rasta, and they're in particular Africa. There's Africa roots, deep roots. Although they're playing from all the way in Jamaica or England or wherever they're playing from, all of the heavyweights. Amazingly Africa, and and just as they say, I agree. Everyone is Africa, and us in particular, we come from Ekragana. We connect with Ekragana directly. We are Moai Hapu. That is the most senior line in the country, and we direct from that line through Te Awa in genealogical ties and connections, and we through Te Tura Te Matua, we are and the line of Tāwhaki, Nui Arangi, we are the Tahu Mākaka Nui Matua. E tataima, kai te mihi atu. Yeah, wasn't it a massive week? We're still coming down here, I think. Well, I know I am. We had an amazing week last week with the King Homeboy. What a legend, eh? Already a legend in his own right, and already amazingly renowned across the world for his hip hop style and his amazing aroha mai, his amazing what do you call it? His amazing beatbox, artistry, all of that sort of thing. It was the kōrero of last week. We'll never forget. I'll never forget. Some of that kōrero is kōrero that, and even very soon as he and I, aroha mai, as he and I have more time talking around the band, practicing around tahu posi and how we're going to move forward within the next show, show some of the practices and look at, once we go into recording gigs and debriefing and all that sort of thing, all the stuff that we promised and couldn't bring during this show, we have definitely got lined up. King Homeboy and I and the rest of the group, the rest of tō tātou mātou pēne ia tahu posi, the rest of tahu posi. Yeah, so that was one of my favourite waiata. Why? A very deeply spiritual roots waiata, that one. No, Joe Mercer is not into burning down houses. He's not into burning things like that down, but very much into spiritual, things around spiritual warfare. Rasta well known for entering into those realms and battling those battles along with the atuatua and making sure that they bring them down properly. Those up against them, the evil forces that they're up against. And they do very, very well. Rasta do very, very well. I'm not up against Rasta when I've, because we've entered into gospel. Why we entered into gospel reggae is because it's a challenging area of reggae. We've played in Rasta roots. We could go a lot further in Rasta roots. I've got no doubt about that. But we decided to look into gospel reggae. Why? Because it needs a lot more help. It needs a lot more assistance. We need a lot more people playing the music in there. We need to bring that side of the genre to a greater maturity. And I'm sure a lot of I haven't spoken to many yet, but we will be. We will speak to a lot of gospel reggae stars and get some talks with... I just gave away some of the stuff we're going to be doing in the next show is talking to some of the stars of gospel reggae. And maybe one or two in Rasta roots, but we won't need to really because we've covered them so well. We've looked at the music very, very deeply, very, very in a spiritual manner, and also from spiritual standpoints, and also from material standpoints and physical standpoints, and the actual playing of the music. Yeah, we've done a little bit of that, but there's a lot more we could have done. But look out for the next show. Look out for Tahu Posse. That's our next show, going to be coming onto RFM 92.7 and whakaata Wairarapa very, very soon. In fact, in the next 3 weeks, this show will conclude and we will roll over into Tahu Posse, the actual show focused solely on the band and the journey. The band and the journey, and through several pathways we will show you some of the aspects of that journey that are very, very important along that journey. Pretty much what we were going to show you in Hawaikirangi, but just a lot simpler, and a lot simpler view, and a lot easier, more achievable targets, and of course with a lot less ability for we had some difficulties, so what we've done is ironed out things in there to make sure we don't have that again. So it's awesome. We're looking forward to it. Kei te tahi mai I te whā, it's 1 after 4. I roto I tēnei ngāra o te maramatua ngahuru, tēnei te 20 māwaru o te 2 mano 20 mātahi. E tatauma, kai te rapu atua hau I mea mānei e waiata tiana, te waiata, could you be loved? Nā, tērā ngā waiata I tātua nuai, tō tātou tino ara I te kiingi e ki a keni, ko te kiingi I te ao pōro, te kiingi o te pōro kiingi mangu, could you be loved? E waiata tia tuana, e wai ke atua no, kore hoki, e mate nui tiana tātou. Kia ki atu, ko wai. Hoi anō, ko wai ki atu anō. Ko ai ane. Te wahine rangatira nei raka anō me ki, raka anō wahine toa kuini o te pōro ki ingi mangu. Ara, ia Lauren Hill. Mahuri o rana tātou. Kahuri.
Let's say it, come on. Yo! We're gonna say it. Would you be loved? Oh yeah. And be loved. Could you be love? Oh yeah, yeah. And be love. Come on, ladies. The road of life is rocky, and you may stumble too. So while you point your fingers, someone else is judging you. Come on, sir. Could you be love? Could you be love? Yes, sir. Could you be love? Come on. Could you be love? Don't let them change you. We've got a life to live. They say only the fittest of the fittest shall survive. Stay alive. Could you be loved? And be loved. See, could you be loved? And be loved. Come on. You ain't gonna miss it until your work runs dry. No matter how you treat him, the man will never be satisfied. We say, could you be loved? 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 Listen, don't let them change you. Hurry, rearrange you. Get up, 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 get up now. We've been sitting down too long. Get up, get up, get up now. Get up now. Could you be loved? Oh yeah, and be loved. We're asking you now. Could you be loved? And be loved. I said, could you be loved? Oh, no, and be loved. Oh, could you be loved? Could you be, and be loved? Could you be loved? Why? Could you be loved? Oh, could you be loved? Could you be loved? Say something, rockers, rockers. Say something, I said record. Say something, I said rockers, rockers. Say something, I said record now. Say something, I said rockers, rockers. Say something, I said record now. I said rockers, rockers. Say something, hey, could you be loved?
Tino a tāhua e tatai mā, tino a tāhua. Tērā a Lion Hill, tētahi o te kuini, tētahi o te raka, tētahi o te tohunga i te ao puoro ki ngi mangu. E kōrero hia ke nīra e tatau mā. Tatai mātou I roto I ni, rā I ni wiki. Yeah, still looking at those heavyweights of the world of reggae music and checking out the fine detail, the mastery, e tātou mā, of the music, and just taking note of a few things here and there. Okay, just like I did for Burn It Down, an absolutely deeply spiritual warfare song, you know. It's a song of warfare against evil. And, you know, those types of waiata, because reggae, I mean, right back at the beginning of the show, we talked about reggae being a spiritual, and when we looked at its roots, right back to the beginning of music, we see that in the Bible, through the lines of the Black Kings and around about the time of Genesis, the time of Moses, leading up to Moses' time. We get the beginning of music leading into the lineage of King David, King Solomon, where comes soca music, the first one-drop music of the world, and in fact, a music of the ancient world. Again, to be called now the genesis of all music. And that's reggae music, the genesis of all music, the foundation of all music. of the world that established into soca and became, as we know it today, reggae. Reggae music. And then, modernized into a context that suits today. So in those times of the ancient beginnings of soca, it was worship, it was royal courtyard music, and mostly worship music. So it wasn't much different. It was rudiments of theory, pace all the time, but not so today. Today we have the modern version, and the version we call reggae. Reggae, rock steady roots, and ska, and every other element as well mixed up in there that makes reggae what it is today, and also builds on its ancient past. E tātou mā is all in there, and rocking us right into the next millennium and further. E tātou mā, kei te tekau mai I te whā, 10 past 4 on this day, the 28th, te pale a rau nei, this Thursday, the 28th. Wow, amazing looking at the heavyweights. So they've got some amazing skills in the music. There's some amazing mastery. Lauren Hill adding her her version of Could You Be Loved is quite well done, and one that we thought was well worth a very strong mention. She does that with a lot of reggae songs. She puts her own twist to those songs, and be it pace or be it a more soul, a more gospel-y, soul, jazzy, gospel soul type of feel, and whether the pace is quick or not, like I say, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Lots of different elements control that and regulate that. So it's not always going to be rudiments of theory, pace, or the slowness of reggae that we get a lot of the time, that we get to hear a lot of the time. E tātou mā, as we roll on through into this next part of the show for today. We have Burning Spear coming up soon, and one of their so many different reggae hits has Burning Spear. We could have one of hundreds and hundreds of different reggae hits of Burning Spear. All of the heavyweights of old. Wow, just amazing, eh? Just amazing. Some of their creations, in fact, most of their creations, let me put it that way, most of their creations are just mind-blowing works of art, and something that we have come to appreciate in Tahu Posi about the heavyweights is that they know exactly what they're doing, and they're so used to the spiritual side of the music. It's so just like comes naturally to them. And like I say, sometimes they're born to reggae. They're born to reggae, and it's just it's quite an obvious thing to me. Like I say, 46, 47 years now. I've reggae has been my number one music right throughout my life, and it's not as though I haven't been into every music. I mean, every music interests me in its own form and in its own light and in its right place and in its time. It's not as though I'm quite very very narrow in my sight of music. That would be very, very untrue for me. I grew up playing anything and everything. We were a whole group of guys, and there weren't many girls in our years that actually joined us for music. Mostly guys, and we played anything and everything, that was going in those days, and that seemed like the thing. We played it, but there was one music that really, really, I mean, if ever you've fallen in love with a music, this was me with reggae. I fell in love with reggae at a very young age and continued to play it, listen to it, go to concerts of it, do everything with reggae. And what I didn't know as I was growing up is I was becoming the music. And it got to a point where I just couldn't survive without it. Sometimes I just needed reggae on, and then everything would end up coming out all right. As long as I had some reggae around, and all that sort of thing. So, e tātou mā, while we listen to the heavyweights, take note of why and how these things came to be for me, and look at why the music touches you. Touches your heart and amazes you, and has brought you on a journey through the times of your life, and been with you for a lifetime too. I know there's many of us out there, and also many like me. Mind you, most of us haven't played it for that long. I played it for about 47 years as well. Not many of us have done that, but we've certainly been into the music for that long. And I know, and there are thousands and thousands that have been looking forward to a show like this. And this is another reason why I brought this show in. There's literally hundreds of thousands of people who wanted a show like this and could see the benefits of it, could see the advantages, because so many of our reggae stars were struggling at the time. I don't know about now, because it would seem that a lot of them, over the time that we have been running this show, have actually started changing their ways of looking at reggae music and playing it. And they're experimenting at the moment. A lot of them are experimenting. They'll get it. They'll get it. Because the understanding seems to be changing out there. And that was the main thing. The main aim we had with this show was to try and increase, not pull down. That's not what we've been trying to do. We've been trying to increase the understanding of reggae music, because that's what it seemed was the biggest problem of all. People were playing it, but actually didn't really understand it. They didn't really understand the music, most of them, and that's why they kept going wrong. Now, give it some time, and I guarantee you we'll have some real mean reggae music come out. In fact, some has already started to come out. I mean, look, we're trying to look at Ria Hall. I mentioned their names, and also Magic Powder. I'm sure she's got some new waiata up her sleeve as well. Probably some in the reo, probably some from Ria in the reo as well. And who knows? Who knows what they've got? But still waiting on them, e tāma. We've got 3 more weeks of this show left. And then we'll roll into the new show called Tahu Posi, a show totally focused on Tahu Posi and the journey. And so all the different aspects that are significant to that journey we'll show you on this show. We'll go live, we'll do all sorts of things to get the nitty-gritty on how this band is doing its stuff, to help our people out there playing reggae music. It doesn't matter whether you're Rasta roots or gospel reggae, both are from the same wairua. And this is the understanding that we have. So we'll just share our understanding to help you understand why I've gone into this side of the genre. Some of my Rasta whānau out there, and I've still got lots of Rasta whānau out there probably going, oh no, he's gone into a different, they're going different. And I can't wait to see them all, because I'm going to say to them, look, this is not different. This is from the same wairua. This is from the same. And there's a little bit of a cultural angle in that view. And we say it's the same, one and the same. And I'll tell you why, because genealogically it comes from one and the same, and so it cannot be as different. I think people in the flesh are making this music different. And what we want to do is bring the rootikal, can I put it that way? In Rasta terms, we would say rootikal, or foundational aspects of the music to the public and the audience that is deeply rooted within gospel reggae, but that we're not hearing enough of. People like Papa San, amazing, He's got this rootikal element, but he's Africa. We're going to bring you Tahu Mā Kanui Matua, but it will still have those cultured aspects, cultured in the spiritual, cultured in the language, cultured in the entire cultural way that we put and organise everything and put it together and arrange everything and mix everything. We have a touch all of our own and a culture all of our own. That's what makes Rasta Roots so brilliant. Rasta Roots reggae is so brilliant because of that. They have their own unique originality in the music, and they have their own culture. They put all of themselves into it. That's why it's so good. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to put all our... It might be gospel reggae, but it's theoretically no different. It's no different. It's not different. It's just the way we play it, or the way we think, the way we, consciously understand it, the way we put it. E tātou mā. Kei ko nei a keni. E whai mai nei, te whai mai nei, a burning spear. Haere tonu a keni, kia tātou. Kahuri.
Value deal with 2 tasty classic pizzas plus 2 winning sides. It'll hit the spot.
With HRV home ventilation, drier, filtered air comes in from up in the roof.
They use us, they use us. Majesty, His Imperial Majesty, Mama Africa, Mama Africa, Mama Africa. I is proud to be African, Jamaican, African, American, African, West Indian, African, Caribbean, African, European. I is proud to be African descendants. His Majesty, His Imperial Majesty, Rastafari, His Majesty, 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 Mama, 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 Africa, 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 Rastafari, Rastafari, His Majesty, His Imperial Majesty, Mama.
Ai rā, hoki e tātou mā Burning Spear, one of the absolute greats of reggae music, one of the absolute, heavyweights of reggae music that will never die. Let's face it, there's a number of the reggae greats that'll just never die, just like Bob Marley, just absolute greats. Burning Spear is one of those. We've got some gospel reggae coming up soon. But wanting to cover a little bit more on Ria Hall and Magic Powder there. Let's not forget they were our first placing, and I hate to say that, we did a lot of categorising and stuff like that on our show, we did a lot of that. But we were just doing that because we were showing that we had, and we do have, the knowledge and the ability to be able to do that on this show. We can do that. Reggae is we are an authority on reggae in the country. So we it's not as though we're not licensed or anything like that. And plus, most of the reggae, core reggae, the real stars of reggae in the country, we actually know them. Manny Abraham and all them, Hallelujah Abraham and all of them. Even one or both of them I could have managed, if I really worked at it, I could have got some call-letter from them. Let's see what we can get from during our show Tahu Posse, because we're going to do a wee bit of travelling. Even when we play our gigs, maybe some of the old stars of reggae in the country. I remember back a few shows I mentioned all tāne. You know what? I said all the tāne in reggae music because I was talking about our Queens of Reggae, our first place on the Hawaikirangi show, Magic Powder, and the runner-up there, Ria Hall. And then we had second and third place, Energy Rising. I'm still yet to contact them, but I know that we're still in waiting on Magic Powder and Ria Hall. There's only about 3 weeks left of this show, so if we don't get them during that time, maybe we can get them during Tahu Posse time. We'll keep them posted on the show. We'll just have to change the name of the show to them, and give them a rundown from on the website, on the ROFM 92.7 website there. on exactly what the show entails in terms of tahu posi. And the journey, well, it could be, we don't need to put that, I guess. Just put tahu posi and just show what the aims of the show are, which is simply to follow up the journey of tahu posi to the platform of the heavyweights of reggae music. Can we do it e tāma? That's the big question. Can we make that? Well, I'll put that to you, and let's see if we can do it. I mean, people have done it from simpler platforms, you know. Bob did it from the ghetto, you know, from an absolute poverty-stricken community, growing up in the simple, you know, cold ground was his bed and rockstone was his pillow. You know, he sung about those sorts of things, you know, and he wasn't lying, you know. So, albeit so simple and so, foundationally, we probably don't look like yet a group that'll ever make the heavyweight platform of the world. But we're going to try. That's what King Homeboy and I decided. That's one of our major aims of Tahu Posi, to take it to the heavyweight platform and play among the heavyweights of the time. With the young people that we have some young people there who will, we know, be strong enough at some point in time to take the group on and take it through into the next generation of Tahu Posi. All those reggae musicians out of the posse of Tahu, and take them on towards the next generation of them. Playing gospel reggae, roots, conscious, roots, reggae music. Etama, and you remember that? Remember I said, tāne, you know, we didn't want to figure the tāne to finish off the show. We wanted the wahine toa. Why? Because actually all the tāne already think they're the kings. And I said that what I meant was an overwhelming number of them do. That's what I meant. But I somehow, the words didn't come out quite like that. I said all tāne do. And that, terrible statement that, because absolutely untrue. There's a lot of tāne out there that actually don't and are very, very good in the genre. And those are some of the people I'm talking about there. Herbs, we might be able to get someone from Herbs. Manny Abraham, perhaps. Even, you know, people like Brannigan Carr. Let's see how we go with Tahu Posi. We might have to travel a bit to get those people on and get a few minutes with them on cam, talking to people like that, the absolute stars in the industry, but especially those in reggae music. What's her name? Munga. She hangs out a lot with and jams a lot with. She does a lot of recording and stuff like that. That's what I mean. With Brannigan Carr these days. So let's have a look and see what we get from there. But in a nutshell, e tatauma, gospel reggae is no different. So we shouldn't be playing it differently. Okay, that's what we think in Tahu Posi. Reggae, no matter how we look at that music, it is rutikau. It has a conscious, cultural core. And from within that core is a spiritual element, you know, that becomes a driving force in the music. That's what I'm talking about. That cultured spiritual element in the music that you just, it just keeps pumping out the magic of the music and pumping it out in a way that is so rock solid that it just cannot be broken. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And so it doesn't matter whether we're doing it for gospel or whether we're doing it for Rasta roots or whether we're doing it for the New Testament or whether we're doing it for the Old Testament or whether we're doing it for when the Lord Jesus became the atonement for sin. That's without sounding like I'm preaching or anything like that. But that's what gospel reggae represents, that side of the Wairarapa. They are different sides, yes, but they're from the same Wairarapa. Let's not make any bones about that. Let's not have any doubt about that. So neither should we play the music any differently. It should be still as cultured, still as spiritual, still as strong, and still as foundationally rootical. Rootical. That's what we call that in reggae terms. Rootical. And but even in saying that, you know, those musicians that want to play gospel reggae the way they do, that's fine. You know, who are we to judge? And I'm not judging. What I'm being such an extraordinaire for reggae music. You know, my ability to play it is beyond most. Okay, so let us not question our ability to be an authority on the music in the country. And so I back these views of Tahu Posse 120,000%. E tātou mā. Let us have no doubt that we should not and will not in Tahu Posse be changing the face of reggae music just because we're playing gospel. Okay? The message might be slightly different, you know, because it's New Testament. Rasta roots is Old Testament. That's all the differences. Even though they're different there, spiritually, you know, they should come out the same. A very cultured, a very spiritual, deeply rootical music. Like Christopher, they're interesting, eh? They're interesting. I like Christopher. I've looked at them, and they've got this rootical style, but they sort of drive the same for the gospel style. In the same style, they tend to mix it up and they sort of fuse them together. That's hard case. Well, not hard case, but I mean, I smiled at that, because there's someone with the right idea. People like Papa San, just amazing, Papa San. I mean, you know, he's got all the Rasta roots there, but he keeps it within his African culture, you know, with all of the rootical foundations there. E tātou mā, just absolutely brilliant, eh? So let's go to some gospel reggae right now. E tātou mā, one of the masters, heavyweights in gospel reggae today. Let's get their waiata rolling along for us now from the album with DJ Proclaimer, Gospel Reggae Praise and Worship. E haere tonu a kene kia tātou. Kahuri.
Yo, DJ Proclaimer, tell them we not run down no money material or become famous. Yo! Remember this?
I'm only human. I'm just a woman. Lord, I to do everything what I am. when you walk among men. Lord Jesus, you know, if you're looking below, there's worse now than then. Alright, the pushing, the shoving, ooh, yes, they crowd up my mind, yes. And Lord, for my sake, yeah, teach me to take it just one day at a time.
DJ Bakuma.
Yes, one day at a time. Sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking from you. All right, Lord, give me the strength to do everything that I have to do. Hey, yeah. Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. All right, so Lord, for my sake, teach me to take one day at a time. Yeah. One day at a time. Come on, sweet Jesus, come on, wave your hand. That's all I'm asking for you. Through it all.
Oh, tino pai tēnā. One Day at a Time. I forgot that was the first waiata on that particular album. E tātou mā. And that was a waiata we had the other week as well. And that, what was her name? Evans? What's her name? I can't remember her name at the moment. I haven't got the notes of her waiata written that I noted down, written before me. But yeah, she sang a version of that song too. That one was far more gospel. Her version was gospel, but she tended to keep it a bit less gospel and more R&B soul. So yeah, that was a very, very gospel version of that. In gospel reggae, some people, we can draw a lot more people into the genre, into the part of the genre, etama. And we're not trying to be better than anybody, just like Rasta Roots. They do the same. We will keep the same culture, keep the same vibe, but give it a gospel reggae interchange for us, because the gospel is interchangeable, and genealogically, because it comes through juniorly, we have to, it has an interchangeable element with the seniority. So sometimes it can come ahead, sometimes it can be in the junior level of operation, if you can understand what I'm saying. This is from a cultural context. So what we can do in that context is, we can, even as though it were elastic, the actual music, and bend it and stretch it to form exactly what we want it to form and what we need it to form. This is how best I can describe how we're going to play the music. We're going to play it in quite a different way than most people, and we're going to move towards making the music fit the message and suit the style. And in fact, the whole style of the way that we're going to play gospel reggae, the whole style should suit it immediately. And why? Because of the cultured way in which we'll play it. Our uretārewa roots, our hapu nui tonu roots, our tahumākāka nui matua roots will do that for us automatically. That's the advantage of being able to have that sort of skill and capability within our band, within our reggae band. It may be gospel, but hey, we're talking tahumākāka nui matua, a powerhouse consciousness of roots that is already there, waiting for us to utilise it and bind it into our reggae style and form and draw the gospel through it. See, that's how we're going to do it. We're going to draw that gospel through it, through that roots, which is already strong. And that's what you hear when you hear reggae music, when you hear that rootikal style in reggae music. Same thing. And that's how well we understand the music in Tahu Posi. And that's how we're going to do our reggae. Similar to the style of Papa San, how he does his. Well, we're not going to do it exactly. I mean, because don't forget, I'm a musician. I'm a reggae musician that plays the whole of the music. So while we're doing that, we're still going to be playing the whole of the music. I don't like playing one little aspect of the music and that's it. Even though we're playing gospel reggae, in that gospel reggae style, I'm going to play the entirety of the reggae music. Yeah, these are the things I learnt from Bob, from the king, from the reggae king, to do with reggae music, and that's how you play it properly. Okay, so I won't just stick to one style. I'll play our roots, conscious roots style. We will play that. Tahu Posi, we will play it through a tahumākāka nui matua rootikal fashion of the music, which will draw the gospel through there. Okay, so our gospel reggae will hopefully, it will on the face of everything, just like how Rasta Roots reggae operates, it will hit you. And you know, when reggae hits you, you just got to fall. You know, you don't stay standing. You fall with it. You know, there's only one way to go when reggae hits you, and that's down. And theoretically, the same thing should happen with our gospel reggae. Okay? And that's what the good of understanding the music can do for you. It can push your reggae and your music beyond the bounds of what you know even. It can push your music there. And, hey, e tatama. That's us for this week. 3 more weeks to go on Hawaikirangi. And we'll have all our new setup ready to go. And the rollover of the show into Tahu Posi, the journey. Well, we'll just call it Tahu Posi. And we'll roll over into there. And make sure that from there we give it our best and we rock right into 2022 in style, recording, gigging. We'll try and even get some gigs in the Aussie circuit. We're going to try and get to Woodford, the Woodford gig over there. We'll see if we can do that one with Homeboy, King Homeboy, and play that gig. Yeah, 400,000-500,000 up to 800,000 people in that gig, and get you some snippets from that gig from right on stage. We'll wear some cams on us, and get us some shots from on stage. Even backstage, we'll get some of the backstage kōrero for you on Tahu Posi. Yeah, and we'll still have the reo also as a huge part of the show. Hopefully during Tahu Posi we can start to bring out more of the different uretārewa and their reo from within the show. E tātou mā kai te waru ki te rima. E tātou me tō tātou whai atu kia uti ai. Kia te ki tēnei rā, me tō tātou whakawihi atu, whakanui atu, whakahōnore, ki aia. Te Iawe atua te pāpā, atua nui tū a uri whāi o io, e mana ki rawa kene, i te katoa ngā mea e whāi atu ana, whāi ngā atu ana, e mea atu ana, e kōrero tia te wahatonu atu, ana i roto o Hawaikirangi, hai aha, hai awhi, hai momoho, hai whakatituki mai anuai. Kia tātou, kia tātou mātou, e tātou mā, kua huri ke mai nei ki roto ki ngā kōrero Hawaikirangi tēnei rā, kai te mihi atu. Me tō tātou, whakanui ake, ia, te Iawe atua, whakamoe miti, e pā. Ai te ingoa te iehua. Mene kāpiti hono ka tātai hono ko rātau mā te mate ki a rātau. Kāpiti hono ka tātai hono. Te ora, o te kānohi ki a tātai mātau. Tēnā rā tātau, kai te mihi atu. Mauri o rana. Kahuri.
The brand new Kia Sportage arriving early 2022. Secure your introductory price of $34,990 plus.
In another day like gone by, 2 youths were shot dead by unknown assailants in Kingston.
Out in the street, they call it.
Welcome to Jam Rock, camp where the thugs them camp at. Now in a van back, it in a your handbag, your knapsack, it in a your backpack. The smell of your girlfriend. Some boy not know this. Them only come around like tourists on the beach with a few club sodas, bedtime stories, and pose like them name Chuck Norris. And don't know the real hardcore, cause sandals are not back to. The thugs them we do where them got to, and won't think twice to. Don't make them spot you unless you carry a lot to. A beer tough king come at you when trench town man stop laugh and block off traffic. Then them we learn and them start pit with the pin file long and it a beat rapid. Police come in a jeep and them can't stop it. Some say them a playboy rabbit. Get dropped like a bad habit. So no bother post stuff if you don't have it. Rastafari stands alone. Welcome to Jam Rock. Hey. Welcome to Jam Rock.
Out in the street, they call it.
Welcome to Jam Down, where people are dead at random. Political violence can't done. Pure ghosts and phantom. The youth them get blind by stardom. Now the king of kings are called. Whole man to pick me. So wave on no one if you with me. To see this operation sick me. Them suit not fit me. To win election, them trick with them down to nothing at all. Come on, let's face it. I get our education's basic. And most of the youth them waste it. And when them waste it, that's when them take the replace it. Then them don't stand a chance at all. And that's why enough little youth have up some fat with the extra in a them back pocket. And a bleach at night time in a some black jacket. All who not lock, said them a lock. Them we pull you up a current like a shock socket. Them we run a road block which but the cops block it. And from now till a morning no stop clock it. If them run out a route a broke back ratchet. Welcome to Jam Rock. South side, north side. Welcome to Jam Rock. East coast, west coast. Yo. Welcome to Jam Rock. Cornwall, Middlesex and Surrey, y'all. Hey. Welcome to Jam Rock.
Out in the street, they call it.
Jamaica, Jamaica. Jamaica, Jamaica. No. Jamaica.